Hi, thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk today. My name's Sally Ann McCormack. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'll want to talk tonight about increasing client engagement and analysing outcomes using technology for mental health practitioners. So, before we start, thank you very much for attending. We are recording this session because there are people that couldn't make it tonight and others in different time zones that found it too difficult to attend. So, a little bit about me. I'm Sally Ann McCormack. As I mentioned, I'm now a psychologist, but my first career was a teacher way back in the day. And then I raised 4 children and now have grandchildren. And I've been working as a psychologist for 20 years now, mainly in private practice. So one of the things that I do want you to know is throughout the chat, it is being monitored. So if you have any questions while we're going, please feel free to ask and someone will respond to you. All right. So, and thank you very much for being here. Now, I just wanted to start with talking to you about the fact that more than 2 in 5 Australians, so 42.9% of Australians have experienced a mental health disorder, and that's according to the ABS 2023. That's nearly 11.5 million Australians. And so you as practitioners know how many people around there are suffering from mental health conditions. One of the problems that we're facing at the moment is that clients who are using Medicare had their sessions halved at the beginning of this year, and so they can only access 10 rebatable sessions per year. And that's something that's, really problematic for us at the moment. So before we get right into it, I just wanted to talk about the fact that as mental health professionals, and I presume most of you are either mental health professionals or you're dealing with mental health professionals, there are so many rewards in our job. So things like working with clients, the satisfaction that we get when a client, understands what we're talking about or kind of gets it. So, and we came into this profession because we want to help. We want to watch the spark of someone understanding what's going on for themselves and to listen to what they do and what we talk about. We have pride in what we do in our sessions as well, but we also face frustrations. So things like when our clients don't or can't make the changes that we've discussed, and that happens regularly in our sessions. And also, and I'm sure that we've all had this, when clients forget what their task was supposed to be. We talk about in sessions, we go over it, we decide on what, when, where, how, why they need to do, and we get the feedback from the next session, oh, I forgot what I had to reflect on or what I had to do, because they didn't get reminded because we're not there with them in between sessions. Some other positives about being mental health professionals: we have a lot of flexibility working in mental health. So there's either contractors, solo practitioners, business or clinic owners. We have a lot of flexibility with, when we work, how many people we see. Even those who are employed in the mental health sector, they're lucky too. There's high rewards in our job, and there's also great satisfaction in what we do as well. So it really is a privilege. I say that a lot in my sessions, but it actually really is a privilege to be in this realm. But again, some of the pain points that we have. What do we do when we're on holidays or sick or surgery? Now, I say this because today's Monday, the 27th of November. I'm having a big surgery on Wednesday. What am I going to do with my clients? I can't just say to them, hey, I know this other psychologist or this other mental health practitioner or social worker. Why don't you just go and see them next week or the week after and then come back to me? Because there's no rapport. There's nothing connecting them with someone else. So they kind of are not relying on me, but they have a rapport with me and they need to see me. But what can I do when I'm not here? So the other pain point is the lack of Medicare rebates, often for our clients. The cost of living that's really rising at the moment. There are waiting lists. I know that some practitioners have absolutely empty books and some are just overwhelmed with clients. I'm not sure how we can fix that. And that's another debate for another time, but certainly there are lots of issues that we have with regards to not being able to see clients as regularly as we might want to. And there's also that question of duty of care too, like how do we support them And in terms of the cost of living for us, I'm sure in my 20 years of work, and I'm sure that for a lot of you as well, particularly those in private practice, maybe not so much the employed people, we have had to take on a lot of pro bono cases because they've run out of their sessions throughout the year, or at the very least, like low cost, like low payments because they can't afford it. But actually, we have practices to run. Again, those of us in private practices or clinic owners, there's a lot of things that we have to do to meet our bills, and we can't do that if we're not charging anything for anyone at the end of the year. So that is definitely a pain point for us. Okay, more positives. We love watching our clients improve over time. We want to help them to increase their enjoyment or happiness, or at least their function in their world. I've had this thing right from the start. It's never actually happened in 20 years, but for many years now, I have asked my clients periodically that once they've finished therapy, once they know that they've kind of got to the end of, whatever they've been doing with me, that they literally skip out of my driveway. So I have a bungalow at the back of my house, and I want one day for someone to skip out. It hasn't happened yet, but I will always hold out hope for that. But nonetheless, I love helping people to get to, these different places in their lives, or, at least to a better level of understanding of what's going on, or the why. Like, why are they behaving the way that they are, or why is, the things happening around them. Now, again, the frustrations. Now, as we know, psychology is a science, but we need to measure the success and changes. We need to analyze, graph our information. So it's not just an opinion. I mean, an opinion is important because it's an informed opinion, but nonetheless, we need something more clinical than that. And so we can use questionnaires periodically, which are great. They give us some type of data. But what do we do about the daily? What do we do if someone has changes several times a day? We don't really know what's going on. We know periodically, intermittently. So we know that if we gave someone the DAS, for example, this week and then again in 2 weeks, there'll either be change or they won't, and depending on which direction and which, what we're measuring. But what about on the daily basis? How we ever find out? Now, as I was just saying, client engagement is, as you all know, I'm speaking to the converted here, it's the most important part of therapy, so the therapeutic alliance. And research tells us that that's less important, that the therapeutic style, so whatever, whether we use CBT or, whatever we use, it's less important than the therapeutic alliance. So the client has to feel connected to us. So it is all about connection, regardless of what method of psychology we use. So we want that connection. We want rapport, trust, confidence, and they are incredibly important. Solution. If our clients were reminded by us on a regular basis to do homework, to check in, just to relax. Some of mine have been told to go and play golf or watch a movie or something like that. Just some type of reminder to remind them of, staying focused on their mental health. What if there was an encrypted platform to communicate? So not emails. Us practitioners know that, it's, and most of us try and set boundaries around our sessions to not allow our clients to email us probably ever, but certainly not to email us regularly to communicate things to us. But sometimes they just want to say, I had a bad day today. Just something. It might even be to change sessions and arrange appointments as well. And again, often that's not the best way to do it through email because it's not encrypted. Even if your end as the practitioner is encrypted, their end may not be. So we need something that's more encrypted and safer than that. We also need to make sure that there's reminders of emergency contact. So if someone is in distress and they're trying to communicate that to someone, which great if they are, but they need to have some type of reminder of who to ring and when to ring. So obviously if there's a safety plan in place, you will have given them, the phone numbers of, 000 here in Australia, or Lifeline, or any of those important numbers, and maybe their emergency contacts as well. But in the moment, they may not really be thinking about that. And then another possible solution would be AI, which can indicate clients' level of distress. So when a client, maybe messages us, we want to know if they're okay or whether there's, a higher level of distress. So we'll talk more about that shortly. Now, at the end of this webinar, I've got two things that I wanted to kind of address. Number one is the exciting news about a new cutting edge use of AI that we're hoping to have available early in 2024 for all mental health practices. And we're going to talk quite a bit about that at the very end of it. We will also be talking about some AI earlier, but there is a new piece of AI at the end, which is brand new. It's not even yet finished. And then two is a bonus offer from us to help you improve productivity, client engagement, and success in your practice. So this will be an exclusive deal for those of you who are attending this webinar live. So, and those that I'm actually going to be sending this to as well. So, but going back to the AI, just to let you know, with this digital platform that we're going to talk about now, early next year, we'll be utilizing that AI in a way that no other practitioner platform is using anywhere in the world, as far as we can find out. And we've done some extensive competitor analysis there. So if there is, please let us know, but we can't find anything. Okay. So after all of that we've just spoken about, we have the ANTSA. ANTSA is it's a digital platform that is customizable for mental health professionals to electronically monitor, track, and engage with current and waitlist clients between sessions. So I needed to find a way of dealing with my clients. And this happened, it was conceptualized 2 years ago when I had another surgery. I seem to have annual surgeries, and I didn't know how I was going to engage with my clients. And so all of this came together in some conversations with my family. So I'm very lucky. I've got a very supportive family, and now we've built a successful team around us to have created this digital platform. So what you're seeing now is the client view. So that is what the client sees on their mobile phone. So I have written myself as the client in this particular picture. It says good afternoon. It describes how I've been feeling because I've already put in my tracking. I did it 4 minutes ago. This is how I felt. We'll go through more of this afterwards, but I just want you to note it's the little thing that was important to me, random. I wanted to put an inspirational quote. If anyone's ever been to my office, they know that I have inspirational quotes all over the walls, everywhere, in bright colors. So in this app, both in the practitioner version and in the client version, you'll see every time you refresh the page, you get a new quote. So, but that's the client version. Now here we have the practitioner view. So this is just, I'm going to flick to the next page in a second, but this is how you create an account. So when you go to the website, because it's all automated, and this is really what it's about here, is to make sure that it's automated. We don't want to be working harder. We're already hardworking people in this business. We don't want to make anything harder. So you don't have to contact me or anyone else in my team. If you want to start using ANTSA at any stage, you just start your own account. It's as simple as that. So you would go to this. Now, importantly, and I've written it here and it'll be on the next page as well, at this stage, you can only use it on a computer. So the practitioner version. The client version has to be on their phone because it's about getting notifications and other things, but the practitioner view is only on a computer. That's a desktop, PC, laptop, iPad is okay as well, so that's a demonstration on an iPad, but it's only for that. And here is what you see when you log in. Once you've started the program, when you log in, you can see the welcome, that's the dashboard. Up in the top corner there, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but in the top corner there, you can put up an avatar, like a picture of yourself if you like. It says solo practitioner in the top right. Another, as I said, the quotes that I really like, and they'll just keep refreshing. I have messages, so the last messages that are on there, these are not real, by the way, so this is not a breach of, obviously Harry Potter is not real, so not breaching any confidentialities there, but that's what the screen will look like. So what is ANTSA? It's a comprehensive digital platform designed to improve the practice of mental health professionals with features that enhance the therapeutic process for the practitioners and clients alike. Automated time-consuming tasks. So ANTSA automates time-consuming tasks like setting homework, daily engagement, and scoring questionnaires. I'll talk a bit more about that later. These features save valuable time, allowing practitioners to address their clients' specific mental health needs. Okay, so here's just a bit of an overview of the platform. So we have up the top, starting from the top, an individualized tasks and prompting. So within the platform, the practitioner can send tasks, activities, videos, journals, a number of things to the client, and they are prompted. They get notifications on their phones to remind them to do whatever task it is. Progress monitoring. So that is with the daily mood tracker, for example. The client can click on their mood, they can write something in there or click a button, which is coming in the next update, to show how they're going, and they can get the feedback of that as well, because in terms of data, our team uses, we have a data science team here who, and the data analysis is very important to us, which I'm sure it is to you as well. So, but the clients as well, they get the opportunity to have a look at their data, look at their tracking, and see how they're going and how they've been going over a period of time. The two main options are 7 days or 30 days. Or the mood tracking. Sorry, the progress monitoring also includes the, how they've been scoring on the DAS or other questionnaires, that kind of thing. So there's progress monitoring and the mood tracking, obviously. Artificial intelligence and data analysis. So in terms of the AI currently in the program, again, we've got some exciting news at the end, but currently in the program, if the client is messaging or within some of the homework tasks, if the client says something like, I didn't want to get out of bed today, then the AI will probably track that as mild distress or moderate distress. It depends on, some of the other things around it. If the client says, I want to die, I don't want to be here anymore, it will be flagged as severe distress. And that is something when you, the practitioner, open up your application, your platform, the practitioner portal, you can actually see all of the people that may have various levels of distress there. But, and I'll talk more about this shortly, it's not live. They know it's not live, so the clients are told that it's not live. As I said, there's notifications for them on who to contact if they are in great distress, but it does let you know. So if you log in, on a Monday, you might see on a Friday night or a Saturday that your client has been in distress. You also know that they've just been reminded straight away, ring 000, ring Lifeline, here are the phone numbers. So at least they're communicating to someone, which is a bonus. So, but again, more about that. The psychological questionnaires, currently the DAS 21 and the DAS 42 are self-scoring. So if you send those the task to your client, you can the data is then processed automatically, so you don't have to work on it, you don't have to do anything with it, and it'll be graphed in the back end for you. The client does not get a copy of their results, only the practitioner does. And finally, information videos and articles. So within the program, the client, we can see it as well, but the client has 24 hours a day, 7 days a week access to evidence-based psychoeducation. So there is information articles and videos that have been sent there from various universities. We have permission to have put them all on the platform, and so the client can be directed to each of those. They are evidence-based, so it's a great bonus for them if they just want a little bit of information. As I've said to you in the beginning, this is new technology, a new platform. It's the only one in Australia. There's only one other one in the world that we're aware of, and another one that's coming in another country, but none of them are using Australian servers. They're not as secure as, in Australian terms as the others are. So, we're really excited to have this happening for us now. So, all right, next. Right, now, This is important to note. There are 3 entities within the ANTSA platform, 3 entities. Now, number 1 is the clinics. Now, a clinic or a clinic owner is not necessarily a mental health practitioner. So the clinic owner may not be a social worker. They may not be any type of mental health practitioner. They could be someone's spouse or cousin or parent or child, but they're not necessarily a practitioner. And that's important because this entity needs to have its own email address. So what we don't want people to do is to decide that they're a clinic, that they have, 5 practitioners, and they log themselves in as a clinic owner. Because at that point in time, you have created an entity of being a clinic owner, but you're not a practitioner. And if you want to be a practitioner within your clinic, you have to do your own email address. So that brings us to the second entity. I've written solo practitioners, but it's actually practitioners. So a practitioner can belong to a clinic. So I might be a clinic owner. I'll use one email address, but I also might be a practitioner. So I'll use a different email address to log in there because I get access to different information, and they are 2 separate things. So when we don't want a practitioner to have the same access as a clinic owner. A clinic owner they can't see clients. It's created by a psychologist. So we don't want to have any clinic owners who may not be psychologists or mental health practitioners or social workers or any other type of mental health worker. We don't want them to have access to your clients. That's really important to us. So we've made sure that all that the clinic owner can see in that regard is the amount of people. They can see numbers, so the data. So they can see the data. They cannot see the name of your clients or anything like that. So we need to make sure that that's really clear. So practitioners. As a practitioner, I can either be part of a clinic, as I said, or just a solo practitioner. So Sally Ann McCormack is a psychologist, and so I have my own solo practitioner platform. So what I have with my clients, I have, like most of my clients are on there, of course, as you'd expect. So I have all of my clients within the program. Now, ANTSA itself doesn't access that either. So as the admin of all of ANTSA, I can't access the name. I can't even access the name of the clinic's practitioners. So I don't know who the practitioners are. So again, really protected. So as a solo practitioner, you have the ability to work for various practices as well. And also as a clinic owner, you can have different people in different, you can have a mental health worker and a social worker or a mental health nurse or someone like that. So you can have different people. And the clients, which is the third entity, can actually have, multiple practitioners as well for different reasons. So they might belong to ANTSA. So the client in their own entity on their phone can actually have different practitioners as well. That also the practitioners can't access the other's information either. So if I was a mental health nurse and my client has another practitioner who might be a social worker, I can't see the social worker or anything that the social worker is doing with my client. I can't even see that the client has that. It's up to the client to share that information. So again, privacy, confidentiality are the most important things in our application. So the client, as I've already mentioned, has access anytime to the evidence-based psychoeducation, the articles and videos. They have an encrypted messaging system, which notifies them if there's any issues, phone notifications for tasks, and they just feel engaged. It's the overwhelming feedback that my clients give me is that they feel engaged and supported 24/7. They know I'm not there. I'm not there at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're writing in their journals, but they feel like they're talking to me because they know at some stage, even if it's the next session, because we're not making more work for psychologists, for mental health practitioners, for social workers. We're not trying to increase the work for any of us. We're enriching the work for us. So that's really important. but the experience from the client's point of view is that they are more connected. Therapeutic alliance, supported, connected, engaged. So now we're going to do a live demo here. So let's go. Now I'm going to show you. So this is where you start as a practitioner. So I've decided that I want to join ANTSA. I don't have to contact anyone. I've gone to the website. There are links on there telling you how to join. You just, or just if you already know this button, you just click it. So it's app.antsa.com.au. All right, and I'm going to sign up either as a solo practitioner or a clinic owner. For the example today, I'm just going to do solo practitioner. All right, so again, I'm going to put in my email address. So it's Sallyanne at, answer@yotmail.com. Okay, so I can read through those. I just won't for now, but they're both there, the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. I'm just going to agree to that and sign up. All right. So now I'm going to get a verification link. So what do I do? All right, I'm just listening to my team member here. So now I log back in. All right, so Yotmail and all right, so fingers crossed because this is live. All right, numbers 6607. All right, so that's the authentication. As you know, we need to be really big with that. All the big companies have been hacked, it seems, here in Australia at the moment. So we are very protective of that here in ANTSA, in our platform. So to start with, you can add an avatar. There's information here. I'm just going to write ANTSA platform. There's all these other things here. I prefer not to say. Phone number 123456789. Just do lots of sixes there. Type of practitioner, I might be a community health worker. Address, I'm just going to write Melbourne. All right, so you would fill in all the proper information there. Obviously, you can upload a picture if you want to. This goes straight to the pricing package. So since I've enrolled as a solo practitioner, just so you know, this is how it is. There's two options. You can start the 30-day free trial. Now, just to be clear about this, I do not want to capture people in my platform. So when I had this constructed by a team, they said, do you want to make sure that people put in their credit card details? And I said, no. And they said, well, that's not normally the practice. You're supposed to get them to put their credit card details in, and then, it's up to them to renew. But I didn't want to do that because I want you to love this as much as I do and as much as the other people that are using it as well do. So we have the 30-day free trial. So I can either pay now if I want to start paying straight away, or as it says, you can skip the 30-day trial period. But I'm just going to go to the dashboard for now. And then we start. So here I am. I've called myself ANTSA Platform. Here's my dashboard. You can see my little quotes there. There's no messages that we've had so far. Now, so up here would be my avatar if I chose to put a picture up. Here's my notifications if anything happens with the client, and any homework tasks or anything like that, and solo practitioner. But I'm going to start right at the beginning because this is what I wanted to do when I started, was to add a client. So I would go, and we're going to talk about all of those things down the side there, but we're going to start with adding a client. So I'll go to clients. It is as simple as anything, and it had to be simple because I am not very technologically minded. So it needed to be simple and easy. Create a new client. So I'm going to call them new client. Oops. Their email address is just another made up one. So answerclient@gmail.com, and I'm just making up a phone number. Send invitation. Now, I do this in a session, and while my client is making sure that that email has gone through to them, and they may even decide to set it up while they're sitting there in my office or on the screen if you're still doing telehealth. What I do is I click on the view this client, and now I start talking it through and working through with them. So the first thing that, we'll just go through here quickly. You can see that it's pending. So shortly, a member of my team, the tech team, will be fixing that. I will accept on behalf of the client. But here we have general information, which is what they'll be filling in while I'm speaking to them generally, or they can do it in their own time. They'll fill in all of these parts that are necessary. The next section is the medical information. So they can go through, that's up to you to decide what you want and what you don't want in there. The part that is important that's not optional is the emergency contact information. So we want them to do that. Then we have homework, which we're going to go through in a second. Insights tells us what their moods have been. So here, this metric represents the most frequently occurring mood. It provides insight into the mood that the client uses most often. This is the longest streak, for example. This metric represents the longest streak of consistent moods recorded by the client. It measures the duration of the longest consecutive mood updates. Now, further down here, there's other information that would be there as well. And we have a DAS results, because as I said before, the DAS is automated. So it graphs the results. When the client fills it in, it's graphed here in either the DAS 21 or the DAS 42. There are other questionnaires in there, but these are the ones at this point in time that are graphed. So that's back to the mood tracker or the DAS. And in the files section, we can upload files. So it might be their GP referrals or anything else that's important to you. The client can't see this section, so that is purely for you and for your notes. You might even, take notes and upload them after each session, so you decide what and how much goes in there. It's able to be filtered, modified. So let's go back to the homework. This is my favorite part. So in session, clients filling in their details, and while they're doing that, at the same time, because we're all multitaskers and we don't want to waste time, is I will then set homework tasks. Now, in this section, in the homework section, there are 4 categories. There's activities, questionnaires, which includes the DASs, journals, which is more writing and more text for them, and videos. So I'll just quickly go to, the questionnaires, that's nice and easy. So it might be, so the DASs are there. There's a DAS 21 and the DAS 42. And what I do, if I want to give my client the DAS 42, for example, I will grab those dots on the page there and I will drag them into the all assigned homework tasks section. Now a screen's going to pop up for me. Again, it's so simple. It says assign once. I can decide to assign it more times than that if I chose to do it repeated every day, every week. If I choose weeks, I can choose which day of the weeks I want it to be done. But I'm going to go back and just assign it once, because we're going to put that now, so I'm going to get a notification. So I will do this for, let's just say, so I get to choose the time. Oh, sorry, whoops. So the date, I've chosen today's date. That's fine. Reminder. So I'm going to choose 8. What's the time now? It's 8:05. So I'll choose 8:07 p.m. Press OK. Need to press OK, obviously, and then add. Now, in addition to that, I might choose, that's the questionnaire. So there's various questionnaires here, the K10, there's, whatever it is that you can get to go through those yourself in your own time. Activities is my favorite section. I generally go straight to the behavioral because I know what's in there. So there are 2 options for you. Actually, I'm just going to assign the DAS 42 first of all, only because I want to show you the notification. So I'm just going to assign it. Right. So now I'm going to go back to assigning other homework tasks. So let's go to that. I did that on purpose, so it's going to show up shortly. So there's behavioral. You can see that there's two sections. There's general tasks and there's my own tasks. Now, I obviously wrote this, so I have tasks here that are relevant to my practice, things that I'm interested in for my clients. And so one of those is, and this is a regular one that I think most of us will probably do anyway, is the mood tracking reminders. Because there's the mood tracker on the front of the app, it still doesn't mean that people are going to remember to do it. So the mood tracking reminders, I'm going to drag that over into new clients' homework task. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a custom thing, and I might say like daily until the end of, I don't know, end of December, I might decide. And I decide on the times as well. So that I will then add, and my client's going to get reminded. So there's my mood tracking reminders. But one that I like, one of my favorite ones here, so I'll go out of that. You might decide that you don't want that any of my homework tasks. You might think, well, I like behavioral tasks, but none of those appeal to me. So later on, I'll show you over here where you can add your own and create your own homework tasks, and they will be found under here. There's no data because I've just joined, and there's none here, but that's where you'll find them under each heading. So there's a CBT heading, there's tasks under there, children and teens. Some of them are repeated because I've just put them under multiple headings. But if there's a, and going back to that, you can see that the my own tasks has dropped to the bottom of the page. So I'll put that back there. So I often do the questionnaires, and so I do something called, here we go. So in the journals, this is my favorite. I go to the miscellaneous, it's just what I've called it, the general tasks. And so I give my clients this one. So I can click on it, and it says morning writing. So when you wake up, write 3 things that are in your mind. They do not have to make sense. And I've set that reminder to be at 6 o'clock, but you can change that. So I will drag that over into the assigned homework tasks section. And I would make that daily, but let's just pretend that we'll make it a couple of times a week. So we might do it Tuesday and Friday, and I might do it 5 times. There you go. And I don't really want 6 o'clock in the morning because that's a bit early. Let's make it 8 a.m. Press OK, done. And the other one that I like to do, well, actually I won't, that's enough for now. Now, in terms of me, I mentioned earlier, I'm having surgery on Wednesday. So what I've done in my app, I've done some of my own tasks. Now here's like a breathing one, for example. So these ones, I might give a breathing one for just, next Thursday, for example. So I might assign once for, next on the 30th at 6 o'clock. So that's fine. But in my program, my practitioner version, I've actually created my own videos for while I'm away. So I've done 4 videos for my clients. They all know I'm having surgery. They know it's not live, but they will each get on 4 different dates. They will get a 30-second video of me saying, Merry Christmas, it's coming up, and all that kind of thing. So they feel engaged with me. They know it's not live, but I've given them that just to kind of, prompt them, get in touch with them, make them feel like I'm still around, even though they know that I'm not. So I'm going to assign, if I accidentally try and click off this page, by the way, you'll see what happens. It's not going to let me until I've assigned those tasks. I haven't done that yet. So that's just going to remind me, you want to leave the page? Assign the tasks. So, or cancel. So you want to leave the page without assigning the tasks. So cancel. I'm going to then press assign. Now, the next section. So while I'm doing that, this is something that I think you really need to remember in this program. You can see that there's a list now of all of these activities for my client. The one thing when I started doing this was really the letdown of when I would get the notifications. And I think, great, someone's, first client, first couple of clients, great, I'm getting all these notifications up here at the top. And they all say skipped. I don't think anyone's really rejected, but most of them will say skipped. And so what I learned, a couple of things that I had to learn, I think it's really important for any of you that are going to use ANTSA, is that don't be too enthusiastic. I actually wouldn't give this many reminders to a client in the first session because that would be really overwhelming, and their phone is just going to buzz. And what do we do when our phone just buzzes with reminders? We ignore them. So I wouldn't overwhelm them. And as I said, as a practitioner, I've realized now that when clients say, they've done their homework, they probably really haven't, or they've only done it really once, but they've said, yeah, the homework was great, or, yeah, I did do that, but they may not have, which is okay. They don't, they're all at different stages of readiness. But I had to make sure that A, I don't overwhelm them, and B, I don't have, extremely high expectations, and maybe it's on me to not overload them. So that's that part. Now, just moving forward, messages, that is where I can message my new client. So that's my new client's name. Down the bottom here, I have some options. I can add things to the file. So I can add things. Oh, I won't do that. But I can add things. I can add pictures, or I can send a message. And I'm just going to say, hi, new client. Oops. And go from there. All right. The next section is the homework. And that's what I was just saying before. You can add your own homework tasks here if you like. So I might decide to add a new piece of homework because I don't like the ones that are in there, or I think that it's more relevant for this homework. It might even simply be, sit in your backyard and reflect. So I choose the homework type, whether it's a journal, which just means more writing activity, or a video. I will then, I have to click on one because then it allows me the topic headings that are already there. If I don't like any of those topic headings, I can actually, before I start this, I can go to add topic under each of these headings. So that's up to me to decide. I get to start to decide what the default time is of the program, and then I would press save. I'm not going to do that now, but that's what I get to do. And so then when I go back to the client and allocate that client homework, when I go to new tasks, to my own tasks that they're in that program. Now the next section is files. So I can create new files. I can upload files in here. It may be, it can be whatever it is that you want to have in there. It's private. The clients can't see this unless you decide to send it to them. So and we're more setting up things for the future of ANTSA as well. I mean, this is still early days. So there's lots of different things that we're going to be adding to the file section. Psychoeducation, that's just as I mentioned before, the 24/7 access that they have. If you want to see what's in their depression folder, these are the videos and the article that's in there, all evidence-based. Now the report, it's going to say how many total assigned tasks there are. You can see that for new client, who is my only client here, there's 4 assigned tasks. There's totally completed, how many they've completed, all that kind of stuff, the client's engagement. All right, so let's move on from here. We have the client version. Okay, so we have the login here, so I'm going to log in. Oops, it's a little bit slow. Yep, oops. Okay, beautiful.
388-987.
Okay, thank you to my technical team here for telling me the password and the OTP numbers. The one-time password is something that you do, that you will get again. It's all about the encryption. So good evening, new, because that's my name. There are 2 notifications up here. It's giving me the option to track my mood, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Embrace your life as it is. That's just one of my quotes. So there's 1 new message and 2 new homework. So let's go to the notifications first. And what we'll see is that that the practitioner ANTSA platform has sent a message, and there's a friendly reminder to complete the DAS. So the client will click on that, and the DAS isn't protected, so I can put this online. And so they'll get a version of the DAS to fill in, do this questionnaire. So they would say yes, or they can reject it. All right, so going back to the beginning, there's a message here. So a new quote. So there's a message. So my client is going to write back to their practitioner, and they're going to say something like, and we'll see if we get back to this afterwards, to cure myself. All right, so if a client says that to us, the messages are not monitored. They get the lifeline phone number and the 000 for immediate assistance. And every single time that they message, that is what they get on the screen. They then just really quickly, we'll just go through this because we want to get to the end in a second. So their new homework, yes, we can go through that. What's on for today? These are the things that they have to do. Here is what they've done so far. So when they look at their journal entries, they can actually still read what they've done, which is pretty cool. This is the psychoeducation section that we talked about earlier. Sorry, back to the beginning, I forgot to show you the tracking the mood. So they'll click on that. And this is in the updated version. There's a lot of options here. So they can decide that they're stressed, and they might be, and so you can see that it's got a blue circle around it, and they might have been cooking perhaps. So we go down the page, they can write something in there if they choose to. I want to die. Right. And update. Okay. All right, so that is, so here, when they're in this section, they can either choose to, they can monitor themselves, they can look at themselves. That's either the last 7 days or the last 30 days. So they can check their progress. Obviously, there's no other progress here, but they can click on this and they can see what they wrote there. So I want to die, and they clicked on cooking. But there'll be, any of the other emoticons that they've put there, and that will graph colorfully in front of them. And finally, for this section, oh yes, we'll go there now. Yep. All right, so this is it, the pièce de résistance, something that we've just been coming up with recently. We're still working on it at this point in time, but this is the exciting news that we wanted to talk to you about. It's just, as a playing around thing, we've just called it Spectrum. Maybe one of you can think of a better name for it, but this is your own AI practitioner. So the data science team has been working on this for a little while. And so here it introduces itself. So if the client clicks on it here, hello, I'm Spectrum, your empathetic AI therapist. Welcome to our session today. It's a safe space. So I might say, so it asks, how am I feeling today? I feel annoyed. Someone ate my lunch. All right. Now, I haven't practiced any of these. We'll see what it comes up with. And again, this is the beta version. This is not available on ANTSA at the moment. But it says, feeling annoyed. It can be frustrating when someone eats your lunch without permission. It's completely understandable. Can you tell me more about what happened and how it made you feel? I felt violated. No one cares about my things. Again, let's just see what it says. Oops. And we'll see how it goes with that. Again, I haven't practiced all this. This is really, really state-of-the-art tech stuff here, really exciting. So I hear you, and I can understand why you might feel violated when someone takes something that belongs to you without permission. It's important to feel respected and have our personal boundaries honored. It sounds like this incident has made you question whether others care about your belongings. Oh, wow, that is really cool, really cool. And so now, just to be clear for practitioners out there that are just saying, oh my gosh, this is AI. This is not replacing us. This is going to be a discussion point for our sessions. So this is going to be accessible to us, I presume. Again, we're just playing around with that at this point in time. It is not available. But this is something to use as an adjunct at 3 o'clock in the morning when the client feels totally unsupported. You know, someone's just, I don't know, sent them a nasty text, or, you know, they've read an email that they, you know, weren't expecting or are upset by, or whatever, or they're just feeling frustrated because, you know, they had a bad day or whatever it might be. This is not a replacement, and we will have all of that like really clear in there. But what it is an outlet. It's pretty much journaling. So it's journaling by the client with prompts. That's how I view it. So I'm allowing my clients, I'm going to give my clients this opportunity to journal with prompts. And then, as I said, this is not a separate program. It's not away from the therapist. It's not replacing us, because you can see that these are AI answers, of course. So it's just prompting me as a client as to what to say and how to, you know, how to express my thoughts and feelings. So that's one of the purposes here, but we're still a bit to play around with, but we anticipate that this will be out there early next year. So, or at least some stage next year. So as I said, if any of you can think of, we didn't really know what to call it. So if you want to give it a name, maybe a gender neutral name or something, it just seems to, because it's like a character of its own, if you wanted to come up with something, or we'll think of something if you don't. But as far as we know, in this type of platform, and as I said, there are no platforms like this in Australia at all, one in another country and one being created in another country. So one's in Norway, the one that's created that's similar to this, and one that's being created in the USA. But none of them at this point in time have any AI in it. They are also, as I said, not on Australian servers. So that is something different. So we are, but adding the AI here, as far as we know, and we have done extensive competitor analyses, we are world first. This is the beginning of something here. This is cutting edge technology in psychology, and it's really, really exciting. And at this point in time, because it's new, because we're a new company, we decided, as you saw before, we've decided to only charge $59 per month. Now, with that, you can have as many clients as you want. We are not restricting the amount of clients that you have. We are not restricting the amount of times that you use it. This is, or any of the, you know, the homework tasks. I believe the other program may well. I think that there's a certain limit to the amount of clients that you have, and I believe that there might even be a certain limit to homework tasks that you use. We have no such limits, and we're actually a lot cheaper. We might look at that at some stage later. But for those of you who are early adopters, we, at least for the first 12 months, won't be changing that for you. And so what we thought was anyone who has registered as a paying person by the 31st of January 2024, so anyone who's got a paid subscription by then, we will keep your rate at the $59 a month. And in addition to that, when and if the program comes up, the AI platform comes up, we will not be charging you any extra at that point in time for that added support either. We will be, you know, looking further into all the costings and things like that later on. But for now, we just want you to use it. We just want you to love it as much as we do. Now, we did test it early this year. There was 30 to 40 practitioners from various fields, mental health practitioners from various fields who were given this program. Some of them, well, some loved it. Some didn't quite. They didn't, like all of us, we're busy. They didn't try and do it, which is why we decided to do this this demonstration, because they didn't even didn't even open it, so didn't even log on. But the others that did loved it, and so, you know, we now have paying people on the program, and it's, as I said, it's only new. It's only a couple of months old, but it's really getting traction now, and it's really starting to move. So it's pretty exciting. I'm a bit worried about having a couple of weeks off now with my surgery. However, its design is just to be automated. It's to do it itself. So um, I don't expect to have to do anything for it. You just log on to app.antsa.com.au. Answer as in ant, like automatic negative thoughts, by the way. You just log yourself in, you sign up, and you go for gold. And you put on your clients, you do your programs, and I will be resting up myself and I don't have to do anything. So obviously if there's any issues, by all means contact us. I've got a great team. Honestly, I've got the best team ever around me. I feel so blessed and thankful because they are happy to answer my really dumb questions. They are available to me. It seems 24/7. That surely can't be right, but it seems like they're available at all times. So if you have any questions, please get back to us and let us know. I'm also offering an onboarding demo for people as well. If anyone wants to go over these things again or have any further questions in terms of ANTSA, to make sure that you're able to use it as to the best of your ability in your practices. Clinic owners, you might have to do an onboarding as well because it's just slightly different. As I said, you have to have a separate email address and you have to invite all of your practitioners on as well. So that's pretty much it, I think. I'll just, if there's any questions, just very quickly, you can put them in the below. I think that I covered everything anyway. So in the meantime, I'm just going to, I've already told you the offer. So, 6 months of the upcoming AI at no additional cost. There you go. So that's for the paid subscribers. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for spending your Monday night with me. Thank you for being interested in ANTSA. And I know without a doubt you are going to love this. This is going to enhance your practice. It will enhance your engagement with clients. The other practitioners using it, that the feedback, really the most overwhelming feedback is two things. First of all, the support that their clients feel when using it. And secondly, the fact that there's little to do outside of this. Well, they don't have to do anything outside the session. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for coming.